All right, I'm going to read once again from this book, Simply A Course in Miracles. I want to say thank you to the person in Holland who wrote me and said that they bought this book. Thank you so much, and wrote me a nice message. Pen name Alawalani. It's available on Amazon. There's a section here in the middle of the book where I bring in teachings from great mystics and thinkers throughout history. And that's what this little series I've been doing is about, where I'm reading these passages, basically quotes from these different individuals, like Emily Dickinson, and Shakespeare, and Freud, and Jung, and I'm going to read William Blake one of these days, and so Ralph Waldo Emerson. I could do Thoreau. I didn't put Thoreau in here, but Thoreau and Emerson were two of the great, they were part of this movement called the Transcendentalists. And Transcendentalism apparently had a very big impact in the 19th century. It was very impactful. It touched a lot of people. I was wondering in my video whether Emily Dickinson was a Transcendentalist. I don't think she was per se, but she definitely knew Emerson, and she learned from Emerson. But many people did. Emerson was one of those characters who touched many, many people. And he was brilliant. He was like genius, Yeah, and you'll see from some of these quotes. So Ralph Waldo Emerson. Here we go. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. There's so much within us and we don't even know. And if we bother to look, we might understand that the universe is inside of us. There's nothing outside of you. This is what you need to learn. This is something Jesus says in the Course, right? There's nothing outside of you. Everything is right there. This is a very big one, and I'm not sure we're going to go into this right now. But this is a very big idea. The universe is within. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. And some of these can be slightly shifted to get more in line with A Course in Miracles, and you could say that. Of course, I mean, not that what he's saying is not true, but you could go even further and say the world is the ego thought system understands that the world is an attack on God and is a way to hide from God. The Holy Spirit understands the world as a school to bring us home again. The world tends to deny and hide the truth of God from us. That's why we need to do some seeking and some searching within ourselves, and maybe outside of ourselves as well, but ultimately within ourselves. And really to not let ourselves be so affected by other people's opinions and other people's philosophies and other people's thought systems, and really to fall back on the thought system of love, which is what Jesus is presenting here in the Course. And in doing that, we will return to our true self, right? And we will be not only our true self, but we will be our ego personality, the best version of our ego personality as well, you could say, okay? Once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. Once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. So this is something the Course says, Jesus says, all you need is the purpose, right? You just need to understand the goal. The goal is to return to the love of God. If that is your goal, that is your purpose, everything is going to conspire for that to be revealed, right? For that to come to pass. If you don't have that intention and that purpose and that decision, he uses the word decision, the Course uses the word decision a lot. If you don't have that decisiveness, then you will tend to be confused, and you will tend to be lost, and you will tend to suffer. All right, we'll go on though. For every minute you remain angry, you give up 60 seconds of peace of mind. Wow, is 60 seconds really? I didn't know that was a minute. So every minute you remain angry, you give up 60 seconds of peace of mind. So this is the same as what Jesus is saying, that anger is never justified. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get angry, and doesn't mean to feel guilty if you get angry. It doesn't mean to feel that you're a bad course student if you're angry, and that you're not doing it right, and that you suck once again. But rather, just start to recognize that anger does not serve any other purpose except the ego's. Anger does not help. Sometimes it might, in certain situations. We can say that sometimes anger might help, right? But ultimately, anger does not. Like it might work in the short term. Yeah, it might be helpful, useful in the short term, but in the long term, it does not, right? And you have to give up anger, just like you have to give up fear. You have to go beyond all anger and all fear. Fear might also serve a purpose in the short term, right? But in the long term, no. Right? It's like if you have the fear of God in you, that might work, for a spell. But ultimately it's about finding the love of God, not the fear of God, right? And not the wrath of God. It's about learning that God is love and only love. And God could never be wrathful, the true God. Because God is not a person anyway. God is not like a big dude in the sky or something. So anyway, let's go on. He who is not every day conquering some fear has not learned the secret of life. Now, I don't know if the Course would say conquer. I think what Jesus would say in the Course is the one who does not every day calmly observe the fear and just let it dissolve back into nothing has not learned the secret of life. Because it's not like you want to fight fear or you want to fight the ego, right? If you fight it, you give it energy, you give it power. If you just calmly observe it, then it loses all power. It just becomes a joke. It's like you got the tempest in the teapot, and you're just calmly observing it. It's like, yeah, is that all you got? And the tempest in the teapot is like, oh, you're right. Shit, I tried to get you that time. Couldn't do it because you're too smooth, man. You're too smooth. Always do what you are afraid to do. I think that's also a little bit too, maybe a little bit too uptight, right? Always do what you're afraid to do, or else. I think Jesus would say, again, always calmly look at your fear if you can. Try to calmly observe your fear and calmly see if you can go into your fear without fear, right? And to recognize that it is nothing and that love is everything. So, I'm trying to, in doing this, I'm kind of giving a deeper interpretation, because I think what people tend to do is they make the ego like the devil, right? Or Satan. Like, I got to kill Satan. I got to destroy Satan. We got to conquer the evil. And that's, again, that might have its place for a moment, but ultimately, it's not going to work. You're just going to give it power. And in giving it power, it will have power. And it will have power over you. So what you want to do, here's an interesting homonym. The word disillusion, right? Disillusion and dissolution. So dissolution, like dissolving the ego, and that brings you to a state of disillusionment, right? Disillusionment means the dissolving of the ego. What is the dissolving of the ego? The dissolving of the ego is not the destroying of the ego, but rather the ego will just dissolve back into nothing when you realize it is nothing, when you recognize it is nothing. When you give it no power, it will have no power over you. As long as you seek and destroy, you're going to be fighting. And that will go on indefinitely until you stop fighting fire with fire and you dissolve it. You fight it with water, right? That makes more sense. Make your own Bible. Select and collect all the words and sentences that in all your readings have been to you like the blast of a trumpet. This is a great one. Make your own Bible. Damn that Holy Bible. Yeah, so this is kind of what we do. You know, this is problematic too, because we tend to select and collect, but we oftentimes we just do what is comfortable. We select the things that are comfortable and convenient, and we don't seek to go deeper. And I think that, so what Emerson is saying is great, actually. You know, it definitely has its place. But, you know, like if you didn't follow the Course, if you didn't really try to understand the Course on its own terms, you might just select and collect the things from the Course that are meaningful. And that there's something to that, for sure. You know, I think what Emerson is saying is very true. But there comes a time also when, if you're just selecting and collecting, you're probably guided by the ego to some extent, and so you wanna bring the illusion to the truth rather than the truth to the illusion, and you want to bring you don't want to just collect the things that sound nice to you or are moving to you, but you want to. Like when it comes to A Course in Miracles, you want to try to understand A Course in Miracles on its own terms. Not your terms, but what are Jesus's terms? You know, what was the intention that Jesus had in writing this, and what is he getting at? And if you just collect and select, as Emerson is saying, that's problematic. But it's also great what he's saying, you know, so I don't want to, you know, Emerson he was the man. Forgive me, Mr. Emerson. Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. You know, as great as Emerson was, he was not Jesus. You know, that's what we can say. He might have been up there, though. He might have been getting very close, right? But he was not. Was he a spiritual master? I don't know. Maybe he was. Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. Well, that's a great one. That is truly a great one. Patience. Patience is everything. Patience in terms of the Course is Jesus talks about infinite patience. Infinite patience means everyone will eventually go home, right? And if I see my brother as home right now, that means I can be infinitely patient with my brother and not try to change my brother or judge my brother. I can accept my brother, right? And that's patience. That is true patience, where I don't try to impose my own ego on my brother or sister, right? But I let them be what they are, and I know that even though on the surface it might look like they're very far from home, but what is time, right? Time is nothing. Time is an illusion. So when I see my brother or sister or anyone as already home, I see myself that way, and then we're all home. To have friends, you must be a friend. This is a great one. My dad used to say this all the time, right? And Jesus says in the Course, if your brother speaks not of Christ to you, it is because you spoke not of Christ to him. It's a great line. It's the same thing. To have friends, you must be a friend. First, you must be a friend, and then you will have friends. Don't go looking for someone to be a friend to you, and you're not giving true friendship to that person, but you're waiting for that person to be a friend. No, it is upon you to step up and to start with, speaking of Christ to your brother. However that looks, that you don't even have to say speaking of Christ. You can just say being a true friend. To have friends, you must be a friend. Last one, nobody can bring you peace but yourself. It's like Gandhi, no one can hurt me without my own permission. And no one can bring me peace except myself. That's a choice. That is a decision that I must make, right? Peace is a decision that I must make. No one can make that for me, and no one can take the peace from me, and no one can give it to me. I can only accept that peace because the peace is already there. I can only choose to accept it, or I can choose to reject it. And there's really no in-between. There's either total acceptance or you're rejecting, you're resisting. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. Some of the great minds of humankind, human history, that really went beyond the conventions of their time, that somehow they broke the sound barrier. They broke the barriers that were in the way, and they were able to say things that will stand the test of time and will live forever. And these things will be around, and that's why that's why they achieved greatness. Because they got to that place within themselves, and they were able to express it, right? So, and I think that's what we want too. We why not? We're here. Why not be great, right? And I think A Course in Miracles is a way to find your own greatness, because you are great. You are truly great. But there are some things in the way right now, right? And those are the things that you want to just let go. Just let go of those things. They're in the way. And stay focused, right? Stay one pointed to the goal. And it's coming. It's already here. It's here now. Are you? See you soon. Thank you.